You're listening to a New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Yankees fans! A new intro means that I should start this show off differently and every other team-specific show differently here on the Jacob Valk Show. A special New York Yankees episode, to be specific. You get these every week. I am Jacob Valk, and there are a few things happening in the Yankees universe right now. There are some people that are a little concerned that they dropped 3 of 4 to the Rays. If you look at the standings right now, the Yankees are still in first place, but the Rays are 2 games back. And so are the Orioles. I mean, this just goes back to what I was saying before the season started. I can make a case for every single team to make the playoffs. It's why I didn't do playoff picks. It wouldn't surprise me if the Orioles snuck into the playoffs. Not at all. But the team that the Yankees need to be concerned about is the Rays. They're just a pesky team. They can beat you in different ways, whether it's a pitcher's duel like Friday, or coming through with some clutch hits like yesterday. They're a really, really good team, and they're going to continue pestering the Yankees for a really, really long time. And, look, the Yankees are going to have their hands full. It's just that simple. They should be able to beat them. They're the better team. They have the higher payroll. They shouldn't even be competitive with the Yankees, but they are. Give the Rays credit. They're a good team. So I'm not going too crazy about that. What I am going crazy about is the fact that Gary Sanchez is still struggling. I was listening to Moose and Maggie this morning. I listened to them as one of my alarm clocks. I have 3 alarms that go off in the morning. I have my phone, I have one that's just a buzzer, and I have Moose and Maggie. And I like Moose and Maggie. They get a bad rap, but I really like them. And I'm not just saying that because I know Brian Monzo and Chris McMonagle. No, I really think that show is really good. But they opened today's show off with something interesting. And it wasn't so much that they opened the show with Sanchez. That's not the interesting thing. The interesting thing is that they brought up JT Realmuto. Now, I did not realize that he is a free agent at the end of the season. I mean, I've been on record saying that JT Realmuto is the best catcher in baseball. And their question was, would you let Sanchez go if you could bring in Realmuto? Mark Malusis didn't want to. Maggie Gray was a little more supportive of the idea. And I'll tell you, it makes sense. Like I said, Realmuto is the best catcher in baseball. He's been that way for a long time. This guy was perennially underrated since he was playing for some garbage Marlins teams. Then he gets traded to the Phillies, and people start to realize how great he was. And this year, he's off to a great start. 9 games, 4 homers, 9 ribbies, and a .290 average. That's fantastic. For any position, let alone a catcher. And he's a great fielder, too. He has a career .993 fielding percentage as a catcher. And he can also play first. He's never made an error at first. So it makes sense to go after Real Muto. I'm all for it. Now, I'm not saying cast Sanchez aside. I like Gary Sanchez. He's incredibly talented. And, look, there are going to be some players that have bad seasons this year that you wouldn't expect. Just by the nature of how their bodies are used to performing. You shut down for the winter, and then you gear yourself up in the spring, and then it's the full stretch run in the summer. This year, it was shut down in the winter, start in spring, pause in spring, and then start in summer. That's tough. And there are a lot of players that are underperforming this year. I mean, for God's sake, Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres is going on one of the worst slumps of his career. He was on an 0 for 23 slump at one point. Now he's gotten a hit here and there, but he's still not producing. We're accustomed to seeing Torres hit 30 home runs and give a .270 average. I mean, I had said before that he's underrated as a Yankee. And he doesn't get the headlines that Judge and Stanton get. Or Cole. But you know what? He doesn't deserve them right now. He's hitting 157 with 1 home run and 2 RBIs. But no one is calling for his head. And that's correct. No one should be calling for his head, because we know the talent he is. It's the same thing with Gary Sanchez. If you can't look at Gary Sanchez and realize the value that he brings as a power-hitting catcher, a catcher who's going to hit 30 home runs a year, when most catchers are lucky to get 15, you know, I can't help you. Yes, his average is going to be bad. Yes, his defense is going to be frustrating. Yes, he's going through a terrible slump. He's swinging at pitches that a little leaguer wouldn't even swing at. But it makes sense to keep him around. If you can get Real Muto, you know, that's different. Because this is the Yankees we're talking about. Jacob, what are you talking about? You just said you want to keep Sanchez. Now you want to bring in Real Muto. What are you doing? I can hear you. No. That's not what I'm saying. You gotta attack this from a few different angles. There are some Yankee fans that even if they don't get Real Muto, are okay with cutting Sanchez and finding another catcher somewhere. I don't want that. And I just said why I didn't. If the Yankees are able to bring in Real Muto, I understand they can't play together. The Yankees need to keep that DH position open. It's possible you could slide Real Muto to first base, but Voit has been swinging the bat well. I'm not a big Mike Ford fan. If you wanted to move on from Voit for Real Muto, it would make sense, but I don't see that happening. That would be really, really far-fetched to me. It could happen, but I'd put it at like a 1% chance. But do you realize the trade chip that you would have if you signed JT Real Muto? There would be so many teams lining up for Gary Sanchez's services you would have a crazy bidding war. There are a lot of teams out there with bad catchers. And there would be teams lining up for his services. Teams that are looking for that missing power bat. I'm okay with signing Realmuto and then trading Sanchez to the highest bidder. This is the Yankees we're talking about. This is a team that always goes after the best players at any given position. They have a young-ish player there ready to take over. Great. We're going to get someone better. Someone who we know is better as of right now. That's what Realmuto is. Okay, Jacob, what would you trade Sanchez for? Starting pitching makes sense. You take a look at the Yankees, that's their biggest hole. Has been for a really, really long time. Yes, they have Cole. Yes, Severino's going to come back, and yes, Herman's going to come back. But outside of Cole, everyone in that rotation is a question mark. I have no idea how Severino's going to be when he comes back. I have no idea what Herman's going to be when he comes back. James Paxton is wishy-washy. He had a good start yesterday. It's a shame it got wasted, but he's not great. I'm okay with bringing him back, but he's not great. Tanaka's gotten off to a good start, but history tells you he's going to regress. I don't think he's going to keep up a 1.17 ERA. I mean, I'm okay with bringing Tanaka back, but realize what you're getting with Tanaka. You're getting a 4 ERA and a great postseason pitcher. I understand that great postseason pitcher negates the 4 ERA, but for 30 or so regular season games, there are moments that you're going to be really frustrated with Tanaka. J-Happ is terrible. Montgomery is okay. He's not great. Pitches to contact a lot, which I sometimes have an issue with. That can bite you in the ass. So if you go through that rotation, it's Cole, Severino, Herman, Paxton, Tanaka, Montgomery. If you can't see the issues in that rotation besides Garrett Cole, I can't help you. Yeah, they need another starter. I don't know who that starter is, but I'll tell you, I can say with a high degree of confidence that there would be a team that would trade a solid starter. I'm not saying a Garrett Cole type. I'm saying a solid number 2 or 3 starter for Gary Sanchez. And if you can get that trade lined up, sign JT Realmuto. Otherwise, I have no problem keeping Gary Sanchez. The other thing is the Stanton injury. It seems like the Yankees are going to call up Clint Frazier tomorrow. That's good. The fans have been clamoring for it for a while. And it makes sense. Obviously, they have a huge hole now. They're going to have Tauchman, Hicks, Judge, and Frazier as their DH. I don't mind that. But I'll tell you, Clint Frazier's getting really overrated. Alright, this guy isn't that good. He's just not. The guy's a head case. Says a lot of stupid things. Yeah, he's matured a little bit. Okay, fine. You know what? When you're a Yankee, you have to come in immediately and make a good first impression. Some of the things he did just rubbed me the wrong way, and I can't get past that. This guy makes a bunch of fielding mistakes. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to move past that. What do you think Frazier is going to do when he gets called up? You think he's going to be the next Babe Ruth or something? I mean, come on. What's he going to do? Hit 250? Some power? Clint Frazier's a bust, okay? Clint Frazier was a nice try. It should have worked. It didn't. And he has no one to blame but himself. I'm done with Frazier. I'm tired of seeing this guy as a possible part of the Yankees' future. You know why he's getting hyped up so much? Because Yankees fans don't want to realize that they gave away Andrew Miller for nothing. Think about those 3 trades. The Aroldis Chapman trade, you got Gleyber Torres. Fantastic. And then you got Chapman back. Even better. The Beltran trade, it got you Dylan Tate and someone else who I can't remember. But Dylan Tate got you Zach Britton. Britton's been great. Yeah, he had a bad game yesterday. Okay, he was due. What did the Miller trade get you? Clint Frazier, bust. Justice Sheffield, traded for James Paxton. Paxton's okay, not great, not terrible. Ben Heller, jury's still out on. He has talent. He just has to put it all together. And J.P. Fireisen, bust. Yankee fans are holding out hope that Frazier can pan out because they don't want to have given away Andrew Miller for nothing. The reality is, you're not going to win every trade. There are going to be trades that you look back on and say to yourself, what were we thinking? I mean, I don't understand what you see in this kid. There's a reason he hasn't been called up. It's because he's not that good. Yeah, he probably ticked someone off along the way. Okay. You're the one saying that's not a big deal. Of course it's a big deal. When you're a Yankee, you need to conduct yourself appropriately. Garrett Cole gets it. Giancarlo Stanton gets it. Aaron Judge gets it. This guy doesn't. I mean, realistically, everyone else on the team gets it, except Clint Frazier. Maybe he really has matured. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Alright, I'm selling Frazier stock. I don't like him. To think that he's going to come up and give the Yankees a huge shot in the arm and they're going to win a bunch of games in a row, that's not going to happen. Alright? If the Yankees win a bunch of games in a row, it's not going to be because of Clint Frazier. More to the point, they really don't need to win a bunch of games in a row. All is right in Yankee land. They're 2 games up. Okay, they lost a series. The Rays are a good team. I don't get it. I just don't understand what people are seeing with Clint Frazier and this Yankees team. You'll get another one of these next week. Regular episode of the Jacob Valk Show tomorrow. Going to be talking about what should be done with college football and probably some other stuff. I'll probably preview the NHL playoff games. Until tomorrow, I am Jacob Valk saying that you can never have too much talent. Even the 1927 Yankees didn't win every year.